So what are you doing this summer? Have you made your summer plans? Do you know who you're going to be hanging out with, what you're going to be up to? 'Tis the season. We're at the end of June, and all of a sudden, summer's going to be upon us. We're going to be in July and August, and there's a lot of planning going on, a lot of chatter with a lot of you all that I've been talking with, like, oh, we're going to make up for what we missed out on last summer. We've got the plans to go here and to go there and do this and do that, and praise God that He has opened up the doors for us to be able to do some traveling. And I'm sitting here with my buddy Bart. I don't know if you can read, it says his name on the top of his head here. He's part of the throw burrito game that my wife bought for my kids. Don't ask any questions. And so I'm out here by my pool. One of the beautiful things about living here in this church house is we get to have a pool, and this pool did a lot of good things today. There were a bunch of youth group kids over here with our youth pastor Tommy, and we had a bunch of folks over the weekend from our Connect group, and we've been trying to make use of this space, and it really got me thinking about my own summer and just the thing that we were talking about on Sunday, this reality of, do we know our idols? Right? Because an idol can look this way. Like when we worship something other than God, any sort of God substitute, we're saying this is going to give me what only God can give me. And so much of the time when we boil down our idols, what we find behind all of them is myself. So if I have an idol of greed or money, it's because I want to be in control. If I have an idol of fame or glory, or for people to worship the way that I look, why? It's because I'm behind all of that, right? I'm the one that I'm hoping is going to be worshipped. And as I thought about that playing out with regard to our summers, two things that came to my mind. The first is the obvious, right? Like, how do we guard ourselves from using our summers so that it's all about self-indulgence, right? I missed out on so much last summer, so now I'm going to go do all the things that I want to do, and I'm going to lose community. I'm going to miss out on opportunities to serve other people. I'm going to get out of daily and weekly rhythms of worship. I'm going to misunderstand what it means to take vacation from work, which is rest, right? And I'm going to conflate that with taking vacation from God and self, like from what it means to be in relationship with Him and to live that out in my life. And when I try to take a vacation from that and I call that rest, guess what I don't get? Rest. Rest in my soul. I run after other things. And so that's the obvious one, right? Like, let's not order our summers in such a way that we forget who we are, and we worship idols, things that are never going to satisfy us. We're going to come to the end of the summer and find that we're alone and we're exhausted. But the other one is the one that actually I struggle with more. The other one is also about worship of self, but it's just from a different angle. It's worshiping self because you're worshiping actually the opinions of others about yourself. And so you're not going to be as tempted to just overindulge in yourself. You're going to be tempted to overindulge in serving others and in doing acts of service and mercy and whatnot, which are all good things, right? But when you do them too much and you don't set up boundaries so that you can actually rest, you're still worshiping the wrong God. You're still behind that. It's still about you. And you still come to the end of the summer exhausted. You just get there a different way. And what Grandpa John, the Apostle John, at the end of his letter in 1 John, what he encouraged us to see and what he urged us to see that we talked about on Sunday is to keep ourselves from idols, to be aware of the things, the ways that our hearts are shaped to go after the worship ultimately of self, to put ourselves in God's place, and instead to resist that, to call it out when we see it. And if your struggle is the self-indulgence that we talked about at first, to maybe actually plan into your summer opportunities to serve others. Plan into your summer opportunities to go outside of your comfort zone. Maybe even consider sacrificing some of your plans to be away so much, and instead say, hey, how do we build into our summer rhythms so we don't lose community, so we don't miss out completely, So we don't come to the end of the summer and think, what the heck just happened? Where am I? Who am I? If like me, you struggle with the other side of it, which is overworking, because you're still worshiping self and still indulging in the opinions of others, maybe plan in moments of the day or days where you're going to be quiet, where you're going to sit with guys like Bart, who aren't going to talk to you or expect things of you, and who aren't going to be singing your praises, but who are instead going to be encouraging you to just look around and see all the reasons that we have to praise the one who's actually on the throne, who loves me and us better than we could ever love ourselves, who's given us every good gift, and who wants us to actually rest, to not take a vacation from the one who is our rest, but to lean in, even in summer, and especially in summer, into that rest, to find restoration and rejuvenation for our souls and for our bodies. All Souls, my prayer for us this summer is that we will have a balanced summer, not a self-indulgent in any way summer, not a idol factory summer where we're just pursuing all these idols and coming to the end of the summer and being like, man, I'm exhausted. What happened? I'm all sorts of beat up, and the enemy's had his way with me because I've chased after things that are not God. How do we keep God first, in other words, as we walk into our summer? There are very concrete ways that we talked about this entire season, and I encourage you to think about them and then to build them in intentionally into the summer, so that we can watch as we walk in the way of love and then see the fruit of love in our lives. My prayer for you today is that as you're planning your summer, God will show you very concrete ways that you can plan for him, that you can invite him in, and you can watch as he brings the very rest, the very abundant life that you think a vacation is going to give, but that he alone can give. God bless you this day. May it be a day of rest.